The next two are related to Stingray surveillance. Stingray surveillance, I've talked about for 3 years now, is cell site simulator technology, which looks sort of like that. That's a Stingray 2 if you're watching the video. And it essentially tricks your cell phone into thinking that it's connecting to a cell phone tower like it does on a regular basis, and then it's capable of sucking up all of the data from your phone, pictures, texts, all the numbers you've called back and forth, all that information like that. So it's a dangerous tool, and the law enforcement would have you believe that they are only using in emergency situations whenever there's terrorists or dangerous criminals out there. But more and more, through the work of intrepid researchers and journalists and FOIA activists, we're finding out that the police are lying. New documents from the American Civil Liberties Union now reveal that Anaheim, California police, right outside of Disneyland, have been using Stingray surveillance inside planes, which is something we've known about for a while, that these planes existed, but now we're seeing that a tiny little town like Anaheim is using this. Anaheim police possess 3 different forms of cell phone surveillance tools according to newly released documents. These devices are known as cell site simulators. In 2011, Anaheim police purchased the Stingray, and in 2013, the chief of police upgraded the device. And then it also says that the Anaheim police possess another powerful site simulator known as a Dirt Box. The Dirt Box is a military-grade surveillance tool made by Digital Receiver Technology, or DRT, which is where it gets its name, DRT Box Dirt Box. In 2009, Anaheim police used a federal grant to purchase a Dirt Box. This device is capable of collecting information from thousands of phones at a single time in a single flyover. It's also capable of cracking encryption on 200 cell phones at once on the new state-of-the-art 4G LTE networks that your smartphones are using. It's capable of cracking those. They also let local police departments outside of their jurisdiction, outside of their own police department. Every city in Orange County apparently has benefited from these devices because they're sharing them with other departments. And this is just another example of a police department, even a smaller one like this, using these tools to indiscriminately monitor people. And the next story here is just an extension of that. A Stingray case has finally made it to a federal appeals court, which is just one step below the Supreme Court. And of course, I'm not one to blow any smoke up the government's ass or to support the Supreme Court or, really give them much legitimacy. But I will say that it's a good thing if these tools, the technology exists, and the police force out there, who are the defenders and enforcement arm of the state, are out there right now using them on us, then we can, in the meantime, as we build outside the state and get away from their power, we need to find tools to counter them, or at the least get local, smaller government reform and get these some sort of law passed. I guess. I really hate to say that, because honestly, if you pass a law that says, okay, Milwaukee police or Houston police, you have to use a warrant now. What about the feds? What about the NSA, the FBI, the DEA, the IRS, all these different agencies, the Secret Service, the Marshals, that we know that have these same devices? What's to stop them from doing it? So I don't really know what the answer is, but I know it's difficult to even imagine there being a solution when all these various government agencies have these tools, and they're only going to stop using them if they get caught, and then we'll pass a law saying, okay, promise us you'll come get a piece of paper before you use this, and have to hope that they're being honest. And I don't know if I trust that, but either way, we can say this is a good win, that this case has made it this high up there. And it's really crazy when you look at the case. It's United States versus Patrick, which involves Milwaukee resident Damian Patrick. This dude was arrested for a probation violation. He was wanted for a probation violation. He had an arrest warrant out, and he got pulled over in a car. He was in the passenger seat with a friend, and the police came in to search his vehicle. They found a gun on the floor, and then they checked him and found out he had an arrest warrant. So they arrested him. And through the course of the trial, it became clear that the police had been tracking his phone, and so was the FBI. They were apparently watching him, and like they often do, they asked the judge for a pen register or trap and trace order, which is only supposed to get the numbers being dialed, the phone and the number that it dialed. But they get permission to use Stingrays, which are a lot more invasive than that, and judges often have no idea what they're approving because they just don't understand the technology yet. So that's one of the problems. But also just the fact that the police are trying to be secretive about why they were monitoring him in the first place, if they were simply monitoring him based on this probation violation, which is pretty freaking scary. As the Electronic Frontier Foundation attorney Jennifer Lynch noted, it looks like the police are using stingrays for pretty minor crimes that run the gamut. So yeah, this is, when they tell you that, oh, if you're not doing anything wrong, then don't worry about it, and the police departments don't want to talk about it, they're full of shit. This is the future. This is the panopticon, the surveillance state, where every move you make is being watched and everything you say is being listened to by someone. Especially if we're using these computer devices, you have to turn your computers off, unplug them, put your phones, take the battery out, put them in another room, and protect yourself in some way from external surveillance, and then maybe you can have a private conversation. At least in the city. If you get out of the city, you might have a little bit safer, but who's to know how many different devices are planted out in the forest? I don't know. Maybe I'm being crazy.